lovely little saw. Let's give it a sharpen. Nice vintage saw. Got everything jointed. Started to work our way down the saw. Light passes, starting to establish that tooth line. We'll come back and tidy that up on the second filing. If you're willing to put in a little bit of work like this, resharpen, even recut teeth sometimes, you can save yourself a tremendous amount of money up front. If you're willing to learn how to sharpen, spend a bit of time on a vintage saw that will perform every bit as well as a new saw. Sometimes that's not in everyone's budget. A little bit of hand filing work, lots of patience. Find some good videos online. This isn't a how to sharpen your saw video. I have a lot left to learn as far as that goes. I'm just trying to improve every day. Share a little bit of what I've been able to figure out. Might help somebody else.
I find it helpful to speed these videos up and critique my own filing technique. The bulk of this, you can see it is quite horizontal, which looks good. Every once in a while you get a little bit of seesaw rocking into it, which is not ideal. So it helps you really assess where you're at and if you need to improve on some things. This is the same filing pass, just further down the saw. Seems that my filing's improving a little bit. I don't see as much of that rocking motion. This looks pretty flat, consistent all the way across. So to me, this looks quite a bit better than earlier on in the saw.
First pass, after the jointing, slowly define the teeth. There's still irregularities, there's still differences in height. What I'm trying to achieve is an evenly spaced tooth pattern. I'm not particularly concerned with the height difference because this is the first pass. I'm going to joint the saw again. What I'm attempting to do is utilize the tooth spacing that was present in the saw and slowly correct it. It's definitely not flat, and at this point I'm not terribly concerned about that. I was just trying to see if this thing will focus. There we go. Try and get a more or less evenly spaced distribution of teeth all the way down. On the second filing, after we joint these teeth, we're going to take out the worst of the humps. We're going to try it and see how it works. This is one large experiment. If it doesn't work, we'll just cut new teeth. But if this works, and this gives anybody some kind of idea, something they might be able to try on their own saw that isn't just pulling out the hacksaw and starting to cut brand new teeth. You buy something like this. First filing on the dovetail saw. We've started to reestablish our teeth cross. Straight edge, on the teeth. So we've got a, there we go, now we can see. So right back in here, we've got a low spot. Everything else, while not perfect, is fairly consistent. I think with a second jointing and second filing, we can make that quite a bit better and work on getting rid of that low spot, or at least making it less noticeable. Bring them closer to the overall same elevation, and potentially fix up this small weird spot up here. See if we can clean that up a little bit, make that a little nicer. Is it faster to just recut new teeth? Maybe, I don't know. If nothing else, I'll have some personal experience to guide me in one way or another for the next time I encounter something like this. This isn't a terribly large amount of work to file this small of a saw. You know, start to finish to go all the way across. It's like 10 minutes. You know, freehand. It's real quick and dirty. It's just a saw. Make it reasonably consistent. You can eyeball 90 degrees and hold your file at the same angle so that the back surface is plumb. I can't see it being more complicated than that. Maybe it's an oversimplification from my lack of experience, but this doesn't seem like something that the average person should be afraid of. First filing, first jointing complete. We're going to put some Sharpie on those teeth. We're going to join it with a flat file. Just a mill bastard flat file. I joint a little differently. Maybe it's because I've got a very improvised saw vise. I've seen a lot of videos where you would just take the file and run that way. I skew the file a little bit so I can get a hand on each side and just run it. Few passes. We've got some nice bright spots on these teeth again, and we have definitely taken out some of that hump. You look at the height of the teeth remaining after we jointed, especially up here. We're much closer to being flat. I've still got a bit of irregularity up in the front here. I'll give it a couple more really light passes, and we're going to give it a second filing. See how much of that we can get in focus. That's it. That's my second jointing. Now we're ready for our second filing. So our tooth line, it might be hard to see this. Better background. There we go. Much flatter. Even down here. Still have some very odd shaped teeth we're going to attempt to clean up, but that's quite an improvement. Second filing, second jointing. Looks a little more even. Got rid of the worst of the hump in here. Everything looks quite a bit more consistent. Slight little hump right in there. I think we're gonna run it just like that, see how it cuts. You can always give it a little touch up after. It looks pretty good.